Hola Madridistas, how's everyone doing after Valentine's Day? Don't worry if you didn't have a date because for us we only have one love, one club, and one Real Madrid. So, and for today we'll just touch upon some of the results from the UCL the past week. Maybe dive into some of the breaking news about the turtle. Some hot news that just dropped, and also we are gonna deep dive into our visit to the Vallecas as we take on Rayo Vallecano, who are not in the greatest of moments. They've recently gone managerial change as well. But before we get into all of that, let's get a word from our sponsor. So if you enjoy listening to this podcast and want to support us, do check out our partners over at manscaped.com. They have all the grooming equipment to make a man feel special and clean. Use code LBR20 at manscaped.com for a sweet 20% off and free shipping. But, well, with that out of the way, to do the preview today, we have a special guest in the form of Willy Novoa. You can check out his Twitter after this episode from the description. He's a big time Rayo fan and he has some spicy tweets going on. So, how are you doing, mate?
I'm fine, and I'm excited with the new coach, manager. So good.
Okay. Yeah, Willy was telling me he actually lives in Barcelona, but somehow he's a Rayo fan. So, how did that happen?
Now I live in Barcelona, but I'm from Madrid.
Okay.
Before I go to the stadium, and now I'm continue to support it.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
And I have a lot of friends in Madrid, so
Oh yeah, I saw your tweet on PSG as well. So yeah, I believe you lived in Lyon, but do you actually support PSG in some capacity?
no.
No, no. Yeah, yeah.
You
Okay, all right. With that out of the way, we have Mo as well, like as always. How are you, man? Did you catch the rest of the UCL games? How did that go?
Yeah, Jacob, I'm just happy to be back. Talking with Willie about Rayo because Rayo is a very interesting team in Spanish La Liga. So facing them is always an adventure. So I'm pretty excited about doing this preview. But I guess everything gets overshadowed when a big news like what has just broken like 5 minutes ago it happens. Then everything goes out the window. And you kind of have to talk about Kylian Mbappe. But even before we do that, you talked to me about you asked me about how did I catch the games in the Champions League? To be honest, no, I didn't really get the time to, but yeah, I kind of got towards the end of it. I kind of watched PSG take on La Real and some of Bayern against Lazio. But yeah, PSG La Real was of more interest to me because as a Madridista, I want to watch PSG lose. So it was kind of disappointing to anticlimactic that PSG they won by 2 goals to 0 after La Real and all the good work they did in the first half. But man, that's football.
Yeah, that Barcola goal was absolutely like I watched the match and it was heartbreaking for me also. And now I don't think like La Real realistically stand a chance, but yeah, we have to see. Anything can happen.
Yeah, for me personally, it was more. I was kind of surprised to learn the fact that I think in the last 5 away games, La Real haven't managed to score a single goal. So it kind of speaks to their woes at the top, and it kind of makes you wonder when we face them, what's going to happen. So kind of looking forward to the game against La Real, but it's Rayo firstly. We have to kind of deal with them because Rayo always managed to get a result against us last season, especially I think at the Vallecas they complete that was the turning point of our season when they try they beat us 3-2 or 3-1 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So Vallecas, you can't really take them not seriously. So and they at the end of the day, PSG they had too much quality for La Real, especially given the likes of Kylian Mbappe. Now that you have to start praising him after
Yeah, man. Let's
all.
let's actually get right into it. Let's stop all the bullshit. Let's discuss Kylian Mbappe. So, the who was the one who actually broke it? It was David Ornstein, right? And the rest of the guys picked it up. Fabrice Hopkins, all of those guys. And
I'm pretty sure that whoever it was from their let's say Mbappe camp, they fed everybody at the same time. So it's kind of going out to everybody together. This is what happens. I think even it was Fabrice Hawkins from in the French media who actually posted it even before Ornstein did, because that was the first post I saw on the soccer subreddit. So I'm guessing like he was the first one to get it. But the thing is, like, these kind of communications, like, they go out together to everyone. So the fact that everybody's reporting the same thing kind of makes me believe that all of these guys got it together. I think Willie has something to say.
Yeah.
But personally, do you want Mbappe to Real Madrid?
Of course.
I mean, he's the best player in the world, yeah. So it doesn't matter if I want him or not. When a player is as good as that, you have to take him.
But if one player do to my club the things who Mbappe do the last years, I don't want the player on my team.
I don't know if he's done anything for me to say that. Like, there's nothing that
So,
serious.
Willie, are you talking
personally.
about the many times that he's actually used Real Madrid to get a better contract at PSG? Is that what you're talking? Or are you talking about his character of like trying to push out Neymar and Messi out of the team? Maybe things like that?
No, I talk many times who he said, yes, I want to go to Real Madrid. Finally, no, I stay in PSG. Okay, you say the club of your dreams, it's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
What?
I think it's only happened once, right? In 2022. Before that, it never happened. Like in 2021, he wanted to come. He even did an interview. It was like PSG who like kind of stopped the move. Last year, we kind of heard all of these rumors, but like Mbappe never came out and said that he wanted to move to Madrid last year. He kind of said that he wanted to stay on. So you can only judge him based on what he says. And yeah, 2022 was disappointing, but the fact is, like, even if I mean, we have a track record of talking shit about him on the channel. But the thing is, like, he is kind of like the best player in the world. I mean, love him or hate him. And despite all the antics that he did about pushing Neymar out, and whatever happened with Messi, and whatever happened at PSG, the fact remains that he's the best player in the world. And Real Madrid, like, they have a track record of signing these kind of players. So when he comes, you kind of hope that he does it well, and that's all we can wish for.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the fans as well, I think they share the sentiment. So Hassan is in the chat. He says, Kylian Mbappe, Mbappe, oh. He's already started singing. Madrid TV says, Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. Here we go. Hassan says, we're winning it all. Barca are never winning the league again. And he also says, Atleti don't win anyway. They may as well pack their bags and move to France or something.
I mean, personally, I think talking about Real Madrid, like Mbappe coming to Real Madrid is like a little bit premature, because we don't actually have a deal with him. The only bit that is confirmed is the fact that he's going to leave PSG. But like, yeah, everybody expects him to come here. But like, from whoever reliable I've talked to, people who have like kind of sources, all of them have said that he hasn't signed the contract. And even like Mario Cortegana in The Athletic, he had an article a couple of days ago where he said that Mbappe and his family, they aren't really impressed by the contract that Real Madrid have offered him. And from what I know, Madrid are not going to change the offer. So it is kind of like you have to take it at its face value. So we'll see what happens. I mean, nobody's going to improve that offer, because you don't really expect Liverpool or Arsenal to go and give a higher offer than what Madrid are giving. And now that he says he's not staying on at PSG, that means that he kind of wants to leave. So he's not going to get a better offer unless and until he decides to go to City, join hands with Haaland and create a juggernaut over there. At that point, you might as well just stop football and give all the Champions Leagues to Manchester City. But yeah, I kind of hope he comes here. I mean, he's the best player in the world, right? So you kind of expect the best players in the world to play at Madrid, even though Willie rightly pointed out everything that he's done, and all the antics that we have seen from him at PSG. I don't think that would be tolerated at Madrid.
Billy, but can I ask, as a neutral fan or as a Rayo fan, if you have to see Mbappe every day, I mean, every week in La Liga, wouldn't you be happy, or would you actually be annoyed by it?
For me, it's the same, I don't care.
Don't care.
But personally, I think he will play in England.
In England?
In Premier League.
Okay. Some interesting takes, but yeah, it remains to be seen where exactly, like Mo said, we have to make sure that he signs the contract and everything. So, and Hassan says Matteo Moretto reported that he's agreed to join as well. So, personal terms agreed.
No, I mean, from what I know, the terms aren't agreed yet. Like I haven't seen it. Maybe it is probably because Matthew Murder is like he is a proper journalist, and who am I? So the thing is like you have to take his word for it because this guy's a reliable journalist working for an international organization, and we are kind of like doing it from our rooms. So obviously we don't have better information than them. But yeah, personally, from what I know, like the agreement isn't done yet.
All right. Anyways, I'm super excited. I'm already sold. Like it's yet again. I'm totally convinced that Mbappe is gonna come to Real Madrid. But yeah, enough.
Man, Jacob, I wish I had your optimism after the last 2 years.
Man, like it. So this is the final thing, right? The final year, right? If this does not happen this year, then we shouldn't even hope. So, but I actually,
Yeah.
but this came like very early on, right? We didn't have to wait too much, so I feel like this actually might happen.
This was kind of expected that this season it will like come early because like everybody was telling him, we don't want this repeat of the same thing. And I kind of think that this time around, like Florentino is the only one from Madrid who's actually pushing for the deal to go through. So kind of expected to happen, but let's see.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read one more comment on Ashik and then we'll move away from the turtle, okay? So Ashik says, Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid again for the 4th year straight. Laughing my ass off.
I mean, it gives us a lot of opportunities to make a lot of podcast episodes and specials and whatnot.
Yeah, so
I see.
yeah.
I see the next commentary. There should be a rule in Spain and Europe. The league should be renamed to the name of the team that gets 40 La Liga title first. No, guy. The football, it's more than one title, with money, you can have titles.
Yeah, yeah.
Look now, Girona. They have the money who Manchester City gives, and look, the last year they stay in second division. Not only the titles are football.
Yeah, that's very true. But at least La Liga is not named Uber Eats or something.
Yeah, it is named EA Sports. So
EA Sports
not
is fine,
better.
man. It's at least football related. Yeah, and Ashik says, until Mbappe actually gets on the pitch as a Real Madrid player, forget the presentation. But gets on the actual pitch as a Real Madrid player for a match, he's not a Real Madrid player yet.
No, unless and until he gets on the pitch and goes to the Colosseum and halfway and scores a goal. When we are 1-0 down, he's not a Madrid player till then.
Yep. All right. Without further ado, then let's drop Mbappe for the moment and get into Rayo. So Willy, tell us, Rayo right now they're 14th in the league. You guys haven't won the last 5 matches. You just sacked your coach and brought in a new guy. He was your assistant in the last season, the second coach, Perez. So just break down how the season went, man. Why Rayo are 14th in the league?
Personally, I'm so happy, because from the first day I said the football of Francisco is not the football for the Rayo, and we win in the first 6 matches, we win 3. Later, La Liga, we win 2 matches, It's a difficult situation, but now I'm happy. I hope Inigo can do better. I think a lot of persons in Vallecas are happy too.
Yeah.
We hope our football gonna change or strategy in the match and all gonna change because we need.
Yeah, but can you actually break down why Francesco football was like bad? Because we came to the Vallecas last season and we had a very difficult time. That was a shocking defeat as well.
The last season with Iraola, Andoni Iraola, we have a very different football because it's based in the attack, we have I think the second alienation more long in the La Liga, the difference of meters between the goalkeeper and the striker. And now we play for the 0-0, and it's okay for us, one point, And no, this is not the Rayo Vallecano.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like that. The person starts to call us Mata Gigantes. It's giant killer. Because normally we play better against Real Madrid, against Barca, but not now.
Yeah. But did you actually lose any players? Have any new players come in from last season? Because you guys used to play such a nice, attractive counter-attacking football with very attacking players.
But not a lot of her. I think the difference in the last season and this season are 3 players. Not chance a lot of the chance the mentality of the manager.
Yeah.
I think it's this.
Yeah.
I hope it's this.
Yeah. More do you share the same sentiment? You think just the manager change will see a complete turnaround in Rayo's play?
I think something to keep in mind is the fact that they brought in Inigo Perez, who used to be like on the team, the coaching staff of Andoni Iraola. So I think they kind of wanted to go back to the old philosophy, old style. So I think they're kind of hoping that it worked out for them the way Iraola worked out for them. I think there was an interesting comment that was made on La Liga and La Segunda División, like recently, was like teams who play a good style of football have a difficulty getting out. So Rayo, if I remember correctly, they finished 6th the season they came up, and they kind of won the playoffs, and they got in. Same thing with Girona as well when they came up to La Liga. But when they came to the league, they had an exceptional brand of football. All of us saw it last season going to Vallecas, and Rayo's record against Barcelona, it speaks for itself. But this season, under Francisco, I don't think it worked out for them at all, because they had this big defeat at Atleti as well. I think they got thrashed by 7 or something. So I hope it works out, because Rayo is a team that you always want in La Liga, because their style of football, it kind of adds to the variety, that we face in the league. It's not always nice to be playing against teams who sit back and defend with 10 men every game. So the variety that Iraola especially brought to the league with his Rayo, and the work that Girona are doing this season under Michel, I think that's like that's worthy of applause. We have to applaud it. So for me personally, I hope it works out for them. But let's see. But like they said, like Willy said, I think they haven't lost too many players. So they have the core. Alvaro Garcia is there. Isi Palazon is still there. So the key players are there. But let's see how they adapt to this new manager. But I think they kind of lost Fran and all of these guys, so it kind of probably hurt them. But let's see what happens, with Inigo Perez.
Yeah, Willy. So have you actually had to replace Fran Garcia? So who's your left back right now? Is he good enough?
But I think Fran Garcia are a player who are very important the last season. Catena too. So in the back are difficult to us. But I think legend come to Rayo Vallecano, Espino too. I think they are great players too. I don't think it's a problem that the change,
Yeah, Espino is a good player.
Yeah, legend too. I think for the free kick, for example, he's very good too. This season it's not we don't play very well, Rayo. But if you see legend, it's one of the players who don't let and continue to run at the 80, at the 90, So I think we have good players. The players who we change are good change,
Yeah, understandable. So let's say the new manager comes in with a new tactic. So what do you expect tomorrow's lineup to be on Sunday? Is it the same group of players that we saw against Mallorca, or what is your ideal starting lineup?
I don't know because
New manager?
it's yesterday who we changed, and I can't know. I hope we're gonna be better, but I think we need some time to change the dynamic.
Yeah. But it's going to be hard. Your next two games are Real Madrid at home and then Girona away, right? Very hard games.
Yeah, I think it's two games who before are lost, but are two games okay for Inigo can what he have, and later we have the final with Cadiz.
Mm. Yeah, so we can expect that Alvaro Garcia, Quique Perez, and Izzy Palazon, they're all going to start. Camello as well. So how has Radamel Falcao been doing? Is he actually available or is he injured? Is he still your player?
I think Radamel Falcao, it's now I think it's not a player for the Rayo Vallecano.
Okay.
Before he's a very good player, one of the best.
Yeah.
But not now. And I think the Rayo need more young players like Camello, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, but the core of the team that we faced last season, it is...
Can finish the match.
Okay,
Sorry?
you were saying? No, okay. I was saying the core players that we saw last season, they're still there. Cisse, Lejuene, like Bayu is there. Espino is the new guy, but Camillo, Perez, and Izzy Palazon. It's pretty much the same starting lineup. It's just that the system is different now, and possibly we'll see the same attacking, counter-attacking system on Sunday. Is that what you are expecting?
I think he don't gonna change a lot of. We need change, but if you change in one day, one team, maybe they don't know how to play. You need to change a little bit.
Yeah. So
Today
how?
one change, tomorrow one change.
Yeah, that is totally understandable. I wanted to ask also, like, how is Raul de Thomas doing? Why is he so? Is Camello the usual starter, or is Raul de Thomas playing a lot as well?
I hope Raúl de Tomás, because he need, he need. 1 year before, he are in the national team. Are the Spanish who with more goals, and now he can't.
Yeah.
But I need it's because he need confiance.
Oh, okay. So how many goals does he have? Who is your team's top scorer now?
Raúl de Tomás this season.
Yeah, this season, who is the top scorer for Rayo? Who is getting the goals?
Álvaro García.
Alvaro Garcia. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, it's going to be very difficult to predict the lineup, but I think we can expect most of these players to start against Real Madrid. It remains to be seen if, you guys go and change the total system, or we see the same defensive lineup for the first two matches by the new manager, and then you guys try to improve after these two games. Because it is very difficult, two matches, to actually change up everything when you face Real Madrid and Girona. Yeah. Mo, do you have anything else to add that's interesting in terms of Rayo? Because we can actually go ahead with the message from Doris after that.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to note about the fact Rayo is the fact that they kind of like second least number of goals in La Liga. That was a little bit surprising to me, and not only that, but the amount of chances they create isn't great either. So for me, like whenever you think of Rayo, think of a team that is like swashbuckling and attacking, especially when you think about the days of Paco James and all those managers that they had previously. I think we were talking about Raul de Tomas, but Raul de Tomas has kind of been disappointing ever since he's gone to Rayo. I think Willie also referenced that he needs a little bit of confidence, but he doesn't have that. So and Sergio Cameo, I think, is the one who's being trusted by the staff. Even last season, if I remember when we went to Vallecas, he kind of played ahead of I don't think Raul de Tomas was there back then, but he kind of went in the winter. But yeah, even then, Sergio Cameo was kind of starting and everything. So ever since he's been there, like he had this period where he actually didn't get to play. I think it was because of the whole transfer fiasco between Espanyol and Rayo and everything, and the transfer didn't go on time and everything. So ever since then, he's been kind of like uh, off a foot. So he's been a step slower and everything. So for me personally, I am not like I don't expect Raul de Tomas to start tomorrow against it starts on Sunday against us. But I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be Cameo and Alvaro Garcia and Isi Paladon are the players who kind of scared me the most. And probably they have players like Oscar Trejo probably comes off the bench. Because I think Enteka is the one who's starting more these days. I'm not 100% sure. I may be wrong here, but these guys kind of they have the ability to trouble, especially depending on what kind of game plan Inigo Perez decides to go with, especially because he's somebody who seems to me, looking from the outside, to be a hard a callback to what Iraola used to do. So if we see the same Rayo with the same intensity they used to play in the Iraola, I think it's going to be a good game. But if it's more like what Inigo Perez used to do, it might be a snooze fest, because holding out for a 0-0 for the first game against Madrid, especially a Madrid who like completely destroyed Girona. That you wouldn't blame the manager to do that. So and then he has Girona up next. So as long as he gets like two decent results, two draws for Rayo from these two games, he kind of like you get 2 points from games you didn't actually expect any points. So that might be something that plays into his mind. But overall, yeah, let's see what happens. That's basically it.
Absolutely. All right. Without further ado, we have a message from Doris. Big up her, and make sure, after we come back, we'll discuss the Real Madrid lineups and the predictions and whatnot. So, yeah.
All right.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you guys that we partnered up with Manscaped, and if you want to help and support this project and this little family of ours, be sure to check out Manscaped and use code LBR20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. So 2024 is in full swing. We're already a month in, and if you had any New Year's resolutions to look better, feel better, I have a company called Manscaped. They're trusted by more than 10 million men worldwide, and if you want to take a positive step, in a good direction this year, start with yourself. And Manscaped asked us to introduce you guys to the new lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a hair trimmer, for your sensitive bits. It features skin safe technology, to keep your sensitive bits safe. It has an LED bright, it's waterproof, you can use it in the shower. You get 2 extra heads, blade heads, to go either full smooth or an normal blade head. If you want to go all in, you can get the whole package. You get a nose trimmer, you get crop preserver, it's a ball deodorant, you get some aftershave, and in the box you also get some boxers and a bag, to keep all of those things in. So yeah, if you're interested, go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off at checkout and free shipping. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And thank you guys, and back to the video.
2022, also lower than current salary.
Yeah, by the way,
Real
we're
Madrid
live.
won't-
So we were just talking about the Mbappe news, about Fabrizio saying Mbappe hasn't actually signed the deal, but yeah. So do you think he's like comparable in salary to Jude Bellingham, or like maybe Alaba, or it's gonna be like substantially higher?
From what I've heard, like the thing is like Vinicius and Jude are gonna be the references for salaries going forward. So Mbappe is probably gonna be a level above them. So he's gonna get paid more, but it's not substantially more. But the offer is substantially less than what was made in 2022. So and that was confirmed by like multiple journalists already. Like Mario also talked about it, and I see a tweet from Fabrizio also confirming that. And if I remember, like Julien Laurent, who broke the news a couple of weeks back, was it last week? He kind of broke the news about this whole Mbappe thing, and he was also talking about how this offer was like much lower, and it was like half. He was taking like 50% pay cut from his PSG salary and everything. So from what I know, the offer is like way lower. Even the Mbappe clan are like kind of like surprised because last time in 2022 they got like more money for signing ons and everything, but this time it's less. But Real Madrid are like you kind of if you decide to come, you have to come on our terms after everything that happened.
Yeah.
So let's see. From what I've heard, like the club are not going to budge, but it's Mbappe. You can't say no to Mbappe. So
Absolutely.
I think I can if Mbappe do to my club that who do to Real Madrid, I can't say no, But
see, the thing is like if I
but
was a
if
fan,
you
if I think like a fan, I'm probably gonna say no because like we've had a lot of conversations on this podcast itself, and I'm gonna say no. But when Florentino is making a decision, he's not making a decision like a fan. He's thinking more about as the president of Real Madrid, he's trying to build a Real Madrid for the next 10 years. So he's not going to take into account his emotions while making decisions. So there's a reason why Florentino is like he's the best president that Spanish football has had in years. So if you decide that Mbappe is going to come, we kind of like I kind of like support him.
no, and I'm with you. It's Mbappe. If now he want to really come, even if you have 7 strikers, you take Mbappe. You can't say no.
Exactly. All right. Somo, do you want to take us through maybe the Real Madrid side of injuries? I know Brahim actually escaped being injured. So are any of them, so other players who are injured back? So Jude, Rudiger, Nacho, are any of them back?
No, like to answer your question, I don't think anybody's back. Like Jude is out for 2 to 3 weeks, so we already know about that. And Rudiger is like is expected he'll be out for 2 weeks. I was kind of reading into it, and I think Ancelotti talked about this in his press conference. They said that initially when they did the scans and everything, because of a hematoma, they couldn't actually see whether the muscle was damaged or not. But after that, like kind of cleared up, they kind of found out that there was more damage. So he has had this injury ever since he got injured because of Greenwood against Hetafe. So it's probably going to be 2 to 3 weeks to him as well. So for now, I think we're going to continue with Nacho and Tchouaméni as a centre back pairing. The only good thing is like Brahim didn't actually get injured, so we have Brahim, especially with his easy runs and what he did against Leipzig. That goal, just like Messi, only better. So.
Yep. Absolutely. And the other narrative out of that game, Leipzig game, was that Modric did not get any minutes. And I saw a few reports saying that he was super unhappy and, the club are trying to move him on. Definitely, like, there's no question about it. So is that true?
It's difficult to say, man. I think the only person who can answer that is Modric, because the club has said that if Modric wants to stay, he can stay. If he wants to leave, he can leave. They have left the decision to Modric. But for me personally, as a fan, from the way I like look at things, I kind of expect Modric to leave at the end of the season because a player like Modric not getting minutes. If I remember correctly, I was reading reports like 40% minutes. He's only played 40% of available minutes. So, a player like Modric, a competitive animal like Modric, probably doesn't want to stay and sit on the bench. And the reports are that he was unhappy because he was promised like more of a chance going into the season when he renewed last year, but it hasn't transpired this way. I am kind of surprised about that because if I was Modric, I would be expecting this. He's 38 right now.
Yeah.
As good as he is, and as good as he used to be, and as good as he is right now. At some point, the transition is going to happen. It happens with everybody. It happened with Cristiano. It happened with Benzema. I mean, Benzema kind of left before the transition happened.
Yep.
But yeah, it happened with Cristiano. It happened with Benzema. It kind of like even Ramos kind of like saw the writing on the wall, And the biggest example would be Pepe, because Pepe went the last season and Varane like took him over. Even though I would say Pepe still had a lot of football left in him, and he's kind of demonstrated it. But Real Madrid know when to make the transition. So right now we have transition from the team, especially after defeat that happened against City. If you remember, Big Steve came here and said with the chest, "I'm going to retire your players," and he's kind of doing that. So even years back, 1 year down the line. So for me personally, yeah, I kind of think Mortis is going to leave, and the only good thing is like I hope the farewell comes on good terms. Modric goes out winning the 6th Champions League.
Absolutely. And the problem that most fans are having is that, okay, we know Modric is getting less minutes, but Ceballos recently has been getting more minutes than Modric, and we just don't understand that.
I think Modric has like more minutes than Ceballos overall this season.
Overall,
So,
yeah, but recently
yeah.
I've seen more of Ceballos and less of Modric, man.
Nah, man, I don't think so.
Oh, is it
Like
just is it
if
just because Ceballos has been like
I
shocking
think the thing
whenever
is
he
like
has come on, and I just remember
yeah,
that.
definitely. That's probably it because whenever Ceballos plays, you kind of notice him because if you remember even in the game against Atleti, Modric came on before Ceballos, but Ceballos like coming on like kind of seemed to be a lightning rod for everybody because we considered that goal to Llorente,
Yeah,
towards the end. So
yeah, that actually makes sense. So we okay. I know we have only 5 points as a lead, but do you think we can actually give Modric a few minutes, just to keep him happy for this final season, or will we just prioritize La Liga no matter what?
I think the thing is like 5 points isn't too big a lead because I've said this before as well. Like it's just two games, so you have to be careful. A bad result against Rayo and suddenly the pressure is back on us. And with the Champions League in mind, you kind of want to have that breathing room. So for me personally, I hope that as and I think Ancelotti would probably go the same way. Get as many points as you can when you have the best players possible. So Ancelotti always does that. Plays the best players possible. And yeah, although this season he's been rotating a little bit more, trying with Cruz, playing with Modric instead of Cruz. And I think he did that against Getafe, but we
Yeah,
saw how the game against Getafe went. We kind of struggled for control in that game, and when Cruz came on, suddenly the game changed. So for me personally, I want to keep that in mind. Cruz shouldn't be dropped. So Modric, I don't see him starting in place of Fede or even Brahim. So and Kamavinga is probably gonna be playing, and you need those two physical beasts around Cruz. To compensate for whatever weaknesses that he has. So for me personally, I wouldn't really say that Modric should, be played instead of Cruz or anybody. But yeah, rotations will happen. At some point in time, you kind of have to take the load off your best player. So let's see what happens.
100%. And so yeah, let's just go through the lineup quickly. I guess there's not gonna be any changes according to you and me from the Leipzig game. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if the only change he makes is probably bringing in Joselu instead of Brahim. Maybe because Brahim had that injury scare, and Joselu probably deserves to start. And especially if Rayo decide they want to sit back and defend, that might be a good shot to go with.
Mm. So do you actually think Fran Garcia could pop in because obviously maybe the sentiment wins over and he starts Fran instead of Mendy?
Um, it will be interesting, definitely. I kind of hope, I kind of think he'll get a substitute up run out, but I'm not sure if he'll start, especially given the fact that we have a weak backline, as it is.
Yeah. So let's ask Willy. Willy, would you rather face Fran Garcia or Ferland Mendy?
Personally, I think Mendy have more levels, than Fran Garcia.
Yeah.
But for sentiment, I love Fran Garcia. And I love to see him again, even if it's with Real Madrid, to see him in Vallecas. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think all the persons at the stadium.
Absolutely.
And we are so sad because Bellingham can't stay with us because it's a good thing for us at the game, but we want Bellingham in Vallecas because the supporters, the fans of the Rayo Vallecano, are very anti-fascist. It's against violence or things like that. We think with the things with Greenwood, Bellingham, it's a hero now in Vallecas.
Yeah, you want to see all of those players. Even Modric, if he gets a substitute appearance, it will be nice for the Vallecas to actually applaud him or
I kind of remember one incident from the Vallecas where it's like once upon a time there was this right-wing politician who went to their stadium to watch a match because I think their president Raul Martin Presa, he kind of invited him. So after that, all the Rayo fans, they went to the stadium to watch it because they wanted all the the right-wing nonsense to go away. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, at least this club is run better than some other clubs that we know that we're about to soon face, So, anyways, yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. So, do you want to take up anything else? I know Ashik is already in the chat. He says he predicts Joselu hat-trick. There you go. I said it.
Now, man, for me, the only interesting thing was like we talked about a lot about transfers, but we didn't talk about the fact that Alfonso Davies was also rumored to have an agreement with Madrid today.
Yeah,
So
that
was
was
something.
reported by Relevo again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was them who reported it. Yeah, so for me also that was interesting to see what happens next season, because there was also another report from Relevo that said that Ancelotti wants Ferland Mendy to be renewed. So Ferland Mendy, Alfonso Davies, Fran Garcia, Miguel Gutierrez. I think this is kind of like an interesting conundrum to have if you're at Real Madrid. So it would be interesting to see if Alfonso Davies does end up coming here next season. Mbappe, Davies, Enric, all these guys. I kind of think like Real Madrid
All
are
in one
hoping
summer. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, but for me personally, I hope Ferland Mendy stays, because he's been integral to us in the defensive in the big games. So you can never undercount that.
Yeah, if you had asked me that question like before the season started, I would have said, man, let's sell Mendy. But he has time and time again he's shown me that he still has good defensively. There was a time when he used to make very very dumb mistakes, but I feel like that's out of his game now.
For me personally, I think the biggest issue with Mendy has always been the fact that he cannot stay fit because of the number of muscular injuries that he's had over the past year or so. But there was an actually interesting side ever since like COVID started and everything. I think Alfonso Davies has missed the same number of games as Ferland Mendy. So when you put that everything into balance, you kind of like you're kind of wondering if it's the right signing for Real Madrid to make. And I think Alfonso Davies is again out with injury currently. So although he's probably
so he did not play in the UCL again, right? Yeah, he did not.
Yeah, he kind of has a knee ligament injury, so he's not been playing. But yeah, man, I think that's the thing. If you are discounting Mendy because he's having too many injuries, you can't go and sign Alfonso Davies in the same way. He also has injuries. So
yeah,
for me personally, I've always been like, we're pretty clear. I would love the fact that if they bring on Miguel Gutierrez back instead of Alfonso Davies. But if Alfonso Davies comes, all of us will be supporting him, chanting him, and saying we were never against him. So
yeah. Yeah, Ashik says we actually need a right back, but we do have a right back, and I think we're gonna extend Lucas Vazquez's contract as well, right?
Yeah, that was the rumor. The rumor is that Real Madrid have changed their mind and they kind of want to like extend Lucas Vazquez. For me personally, I think while we do need a right back, there's nobody in the market that like is kind of like worth going after. For me, it's like once you have Danny Carvajal, you don't really it's very difficult to get a replacement for him, especially with the recent news that PSG are going to start talking with Hakimi for a renewal. So it will be interesting to see what Real Madrid do. But I like I said in the previous pods as well, this summer I don't really expect us to go for right back. I hope we don't go for right back. It's probably going to be the next summer when everything is more clear and we'll probably have a better idea of what Jan Koot was like. This season has been pretty good, but let's give him one more year and see what kind of a player he is. Maybe somebody else pops up somewhere else, or maybe the contract situations of players like everybody keeps bigging up Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah. Although personally I'm not a big fan, but he also has like 18 months left, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, with a new manager, he might be on the way out there as well. We don't know. We have to wait. Okay, and Saucy here says Davies 100%. He also says I don't trust Girona players. Doesn't matter how good they are this year.
Now, for me, Miguel Gutierrez is because I've followed him since Castilla, and like even since his Castilla, I always said that Ramiro shouldn't have sold. Shouldn't have sold him. He should have been the one who should have been playing. And under Zidane, I think he was on the way to becoming making a spot his own. But Ancelotti came and he for some reason decided Marcelo was going to play. So Miguel Gutierrez one mistake and he was like, consigned back to Castilla. So for me, it's like he's probably the best player that Real Madrid have had since Hakimi from the Castilla setup.
So why was he actually sold? So I believe at that time he had some health issues.
Yeah, he had health issues, but I don't think he was sold because of that. He was sold because Ancelotti wasn't giving him playing time, and like the club and the player both agreed that his cycle at Castilla had come to an end. The only reason he actually stayed at Castilla for like a season or two more than expected was because Raul kind of asked him to, because otherwise he was like I believe in 2020 after the youth league. They won the title, under Raul. He had a lot of offers to go to the first division teams, but Raul kind of wanted him to stay and help Madrid like challenge for promotion. If for some reason it didn't happen, last season we all know how it turned out. But last season he had already gone by then.
Yeah. Right. I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Let's go with predictions. So, Willie, we like to do a prediction on what you think the game is gonna end up as in terms of the scoreline. You can go first. What do you think is gonna be the scoreline?
Right. I think 2-1 for the Rayo Vallecano.
For Rayo. Okay. So, who are gonna be the scorers? You did mention that maybe Raul de Thomas is gonna start over Cameo.
Raúl de Tomás, Fran García y Vinicius Junior.
Oh wow. I mean, is Fran Garcia an own goal? Like, how is it a 2-1?
Fran García, no, Álvaro García. Sorry.
Alvaro Garcia. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Maybe it's Alvaro. With Alvaro Garcia is like the guy who scored most goals for like this season, and Raul de Thomas probably has 0.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah, 2-1 is not a bad shout, especially if you guys can hold on to the lead and keep us worried in the second half. Okay. So how about you, Mo? What's your prediction gonna be?
I'll probably go with maybe 2-1 for us.
2-1.
I'll flip Willie. And I'll make this interesting. I'll say Radamel Falcao will come off the bench and score 1 goal.
No, man. For me, personally, because Xiaomini is playing, I feel like he's gonna keep up his record of not conceding any goals in the back line. So it's gonna be a 1-0 for me. Just a boring 1-0.
What if Kepa starts tomorrow?
Kepa? Oh my
Sunday.
god. Okay. I see your point. Maybe a 2-1 is not a bad shout, yeah. But honestly, man, like I just hope Kepa doesn't start.
No, man, for me, the thing is, like, we're going to be weak aerially, and Radamel Falcao is like somebody, even at this age, he's been good aerially. So I can never discount him, coming off the bench and scoring that one header. But yeah, I hope we keep a clean sheet. I hope we win. But, the thing is, like, Rayo is a team that I can't, I have a soft spot for. So I'll give them 1 goal. 2-1. Yeah, fair enough for me.
All right. Ashik also has some predictions. He says 4-1. It's going to be Joselu hat-trick and Brahim's going to score the other. Yeah. I don't know about the Joselu one, but Brahim scoring is not a bad shout. Man, but okay. Okay, go ahead.
I hope Farouk has already put the Joselu, all the shirts on back on the order, because Joselu hat-trick is happening tomorrow.
Oh, okay. And Saucy brings up an important point. He just says, I just want Ancelotti to give at least 15 to 20 minutes to Guller.
I kind of think that he'll play tomorrow, as long as the result doesn't get too touchy. It doesn't become too close or too uncomfortable for us. I kind of think that Arda Güler is going to play tomorrow.
But humor me this, right? Let's say that Rayo is gonna sit back, okay, tomorrow late on in the second half. Why can't we actually bring on Arda Güler? Because he can unlock a defense probably better than any of the other attackers in tight spaces.
For me personally, the thing is what I want to see is what kind of style that Rayo come out with. Is it physical? Is it are they being too aggressive and everything, tackling everywhere? Because if it's that style, I don't think Ancelotti is going to risk Arda, because I've already read reports of him not being that enthused about his physicality. So with that in mind, I am expecting, if it's comfortable, that he brings him on. But yeah, you have a point. If it's a close game and we need attacking power, I think Arda is a good shot to bring on from the bench. And with Joselu, with Joselu being there with us, with our ability to play into crosses into him, even Fran would probably come on in that situation. So that would be interesting to see.
Absolutely. All right, let's wrap this up. So Willie, it's been a pleasure having you on. Let's just hope you have a good match at the Vallecas. I hope you can see a bit of Modric, before, if he actually decides to retire. Hope he does feature in this game, and you guys get to see it. Also, before we go, we'd like to thank our partners over at Manscaped, and you guys, if you actually like this podcast and you want to support us, this is a great way to do it. Just go buy a t-shirt, buy a nail clipper. It doesn't cost that much, and it'll be really supporting the podcast. So yeah, if you can, please do that. And last but not the least, big shout out to Real Madrid committee as well, our partners over at Instagram. Check out all the descriptions below. It's linked below, and give them a follow as well. So Willy, we like to go out by saying Hala Madrid. You can say whatever comes to your mind. But yeah, Mo, until next time, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
No.
No.
See you.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, guys, we're off the air. So, Willy, how did you feel, man? How did you feel the podcast then? Did you like it?